I think a good place to start this conversation. How many black men in the labor force are childless, single / never married, not overweight or obese, have a bachelor's and master's degree, own a home, and earn $100K or more annually? These are all approximates, but only for the fact that my calculations haven't went through the strenuous review process that's required prior to releasing public statistical reports. And you guys are probably like, why is he sharing this, somewhat as a disclaimer? Because I know how things can get misconstrued. So I want to be clear that these are all approximates. I did not put these through a review process. I did them myself just to show you guys how statistical data and percentages work. Do you recognize that 54 and that 50%? Those numbers actually represent the black men who are childless and also the black men who are single / never married. And again, I want to be clear here. We are only using statistical data from 2019 or 2018 to 2021, just to give you an estimate on the types of men that black women may be looking for, in particular with black men. So if you guys don't know, percentage actually means per 100. So when you see this right here, this 100, that's what that actually means. So this is how you get a percentage of a percentage, 54%. And then you want this 50%, which represents what? The single, never married black men, okay? So that's what you're going to do. You put that 50% right there, and then you want that 50% to continue to stay a whole number. So when you do multiply that, you still have this 100 over here left over. So all you're doing is cross multiplying or multiplying straight across. So when you multiply that, 54 times 50, you get 2,700. Then you multiply 100 times 1, you get 100. Divide 2,700 by 100 and you get 27. So that's how you get a percentage of a percentage. So that's what we're going to be using, that formula, to get our figures for how many black men meet those specific requirements. And we're going to go down the whole list prior to moving forward. So now that we have set the table, I want to explain to you guys the formula that we're going to use to determine how many black men actually meet those requirements. Now, I want to be clear here. If you get under the chat and it's like everybody saying I meet those requirements, you're lying. Because a lot of people don't meet that requirement specifically for black men. How many black men are in the labor force? Answering this question, it is 15.1 million. And where I got that from, you guys can go see this for yourselves. It's from blackdemographics.com by way of the U.S. Census Bureau from 2021. How many black men are childless out of the 15.1 million black men who are in the labor workforce? So let me make sure I'm very clear here. I do understand that there's about 22 million black men that are currently living in the U.S. as of 2022. Go back to what I said. 2021 is what we're going to be using, and we're only taking the specific black men that are in the labor force. So that 15.1 million, this is where I get this number from, just to be clear. Okay? So if anybody says it's far more black men, it says a lot of black men that aren't in the workforce for many different reasons. Unemployed does not mean that those brothers are unable to work or they just don't want to work. Unemployed means that they're actively looking for work, not making any money. They have those numbers separate. And you can also see those on blackdemographics.com. There also are black men who are retired, such as myself. I'm also in the labor force. There's black men who are disabled. There's, black men that are in college. So they would be considered not in the labor force. So I just want to be very clear. Okay? So let's move forward. Just in case we got some Poindexters there. Well, there's 22 million. And this is where I got the 54% number from. You guys have seen this if you've been a subscriber to my platform. How many black men are single / never married? From that 15.1 million, we have 7.5 million black men. That is approximately about 50% of black men who are single, never married. And you guys can see those numbers right here, blackdemographics.com, by way of U.S. Census Bureau 2021. What percentage of black men aged 20 years and over are not overweight or obese? And that would be 4.3 million black men, 29%. You guys are probably asking, where do I get those numbers from? Bam. This is from the the health live stream that we did where I had black women circulated, because we typically don't focus on black men, but now we are. So if we have 70.9% of black men who are considered overweight or obese, subtract that from 100, and that's how you get that 29% number, 29.1% number. That is the amount of black men who are not overweight and or obese. How many black men over the age of 25 have a bachelor's degree or higher? 3.3 million, which equates to 22%. And this is where we got that number from. And I know the narrative in these spaces is the people that don't like black men. They always like to say black men are at the, you want to say bottom of the barrel. I think that's what they call it. It's absolutely not true. So we fit right in the middle with black women. Black women at 28%, black men at 22%. Okay? So that's where we get that number from. How many black men own a home? 1.6 million. That is 11%. And this is where you get this number from the National Association of Realtors. So you see that? Single male. Remember, single, never married black men. Black African American, 11%. How many black men over the age of 25 have a graduate or professional degree or higher? 1.2 million. That's 8%. Black men, educational attainment, 25 and up, graduate or professional degree, 8%. Now, the most important number that we hear in these spaces, how many black men earn $100,000 or more? 926,000. You guys see that? That is 6.1% of the 15.1 million black men in the labor force. And this is where you get this number from. Again, shout out to blackdemographics.com. They put this stuff, in an easy way for everybody can read. And they got this from the U.S. Census Bureau, American Community Survey from 2021. So right here, you see black men, 926,000. And I know, again, once again, in these spaces, we hear that black women out-earn black men.
Black women are making a lot more money for the most part than black men, right? There are a lot of black men who are successful, but for the most part, black women are making the money.
And it's absolutely not true. 721,000 black women earn $100,000 or more. As you guys can see, all this stuff, putting it together, you can start checking the boxes and see, okay, I meet this, I meet that. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't meet these requirements because I'm married and I also have a kid. I don't meet the requirements. So that's how strenuous this is. Like I said, I'm a pretty successful brother, but even me. So don't feel bad if you're checking off boxes and you be like, oh man, I don't meet the requirements. Okay. But I also want to share this information for black men to show you guys how rare some of you guys may be. So if you look at the educational attainment, there's only 8% of black men who own a graduate or professional degree. I myself am in the 8%. I have a graduate degree in public health. Okay. But there's not a lot of black men that can say that. So so I want you guys to make sure that you celebrate your accomplishments, because you are very rare if you meet some of these, some of these markers or these percentages. So hopefully some of this is eye-opening to you guys, right? Before I share this info, y'all gonna be like, man, that can't be true. And I'm gonna show you something. 0.000924692%, or 139 black men in the labor force are childless, single, never married, not overweight or obese, have a bachelor's and master's degree, own a home, and earn $100,000 or more annually. Is anybody in that 139 black men? And you're probably like, hold on, that can't be true. 139. How is this? How is this possible? Let me show you something real quick. And I know every man is going to perk up when I show you this picture. The female delusional calculator. The same way that I just showed you guys the formula on how to calculate a percentage of a percentage. This is the exact same way that the female delusional calculator did it. And I know you guys have used it before. And if you think that number seems too low and you're like, what? There's only what, 139 black men that meet these requirements? All they use is age, race, minimum height, and minimum income. And I'm using a whole bunch of other variables to get my number. So that's why the number is so low. And let me show you guys. For the black men that are black women that are watching, check this out. I put the age demographics from 35 to 44. I excluded married people. I put it as black. I put it at minimum height, 6 feet. I did not exclude obese because I wanted to be realistic, a little more realistic, because some women like obese men, right? And then also the minimum income of 100K, which seems to be, rather popular in these spaces. Look here. This is what you get just using those variables. Check this out. 0.14% for catbacks. And you look, probability. You see that little dot right there? That's where that black man is. That black man. 0.14%. Go back to how many variables that I use for our calculator. Now you see? Now do you understand how rare it is to be one of the guys that I calculated? But just so, hold on. Because I know this is going to come up. It's going to be some, and I hate to keep calling black women out like this, but it's going to be some black women who don't like black men. Be like, oh man, it's only 0.14% of black men who meet those requirements, or it's only 139 black men. I'm going to just date white men. So this is for white men, my ideal man, for my squirrelers out there. Not married, white, at least 6 feet tall, any weight, earning at least 100,000 per year. Look at these dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The probability of finding a white man that meet those requirements is 0.85%. That is 1.5% of all white men in that age range. 4 catbacks, which is pretty much the same thing for black men. So you may go up a little bit more, a 0 point something percentage. I just want to make it let it be known. So like I said, if you go to question my statistics, I know you guys remember the female delusional calculator. And that's why that black man is so rare. 139 black men in the labor force are childless, single, never married, not overweight or obese, have a bachelor's and master's degree, own a home, and earn 100K or more annually. Oh, wait, let me take a swig of my Ollie Pop. Shameless plug. Yeah. Okay. Now, I know some of the black men are like, oh man, it's only 139 black men that meet those requirements. How many black women? Of course I did the numbers for that as well. Good. Because I know what the conversation is going to be. They're going to be like, oh man, all these black men are broke. How many black women are in the labor force? 16.9 million. There are more black women, so there are going to be more of them in the labor force. 16.9 million. Now, this is where I got the number from. As you guys can see here, same thing we did for black men. 16.9 million right there at the top. How many black women are single / never married? 7.9 million. Where did I get this from? Look at this. Never married. 47%. How many black women are childless? 6.5 million. That is 39%. Where did I get that from? Right here. And you can thank blackdemographics.com for putting this graph together. And they got these by way of the National Center for Health and Statistics, January 10, 2023, from numbers from 2015 to 2019. 39% of black women have never birthed a child. How many single black women own a home? 4.9 million. That's actually a pretty substantial number. That's pretty good. Single black women. So shouts out to black women for owning those homes. 29%, as you guys can see here, National Association Realtors. Single female, black, African American. There you go. How many black women over the age of 25 have a bachelor's degree or higher? 4.7 million. That is 28% of the 16.9 million in the labor force. And this is where I got that number. You guys seen this just a couple minutes ago. 28%. There you go. Black women right there. What percentage of black women aged 20 years and over are not overweight or obese? That is 3.4 million of black women, 20.4%. And this is where I got these numbers right here. How many black women over the age of 25 have a graduate or professional degree or higher? 2 million. That is 12%. Right here. Graduate or professional degree. 12%. So shouts out to black women. How many black women earn 100K or more? 721,000. That is 4.2% of the 16.9 million black women in the labor force. And again, these are all approximates. Cool. 0.00044,379%, or 75 black women in the labor force are childless, single/never married, not overweight or obese, have a bachelor's and master's degree, own a home, and earn $100,000 or more annually. Okay? Now, let's do some quick math here. So if there's 139 black men that meet all of those requirements, minus 75, there is a difference of 64 black men who meet all of those requirements. Okay? There you have it. This kind of sets the table to help you guys understand what we're actually looking at. So when you see, and I'm talking to the black women in particular, when you guys make all these standards and preferences and things of that nature for guys that you want them to meet, we have to be clear that a lot of these men are very rare. Not just black men, white men as well. And also, you have to think if you actually meet those requirements, because there are a lot of men being more vocal and saying that, hey, if you want this, then I have my preferences as well. I've discussed these before, and we're going to talk about them here in a second. So that's how rare these numbers are. And I want to be clear, if you're a black woman who say that, hey, I want this, and this, and we're going to get into it, just know what you're facing. And if you're content with that, cool. If that's your preferences, I'm not going to argue with you. Who am I? Who am I to tell you that your standards are too high? But the dating market will tell you if you're spot on or not. If those men are approaching you, you good. If not, then maybe you need to rework a couple of things so you can make, I guess, help the dating market help you better. Okay, but that's not my place to sit there and tell you that you need to lower your standards. I know this is a thing that's in these spaces. I don't care. You have your own preferences, but what I am going to do is give you real-time information to show you guys what you're facing. The market will always tell you where you stand, right? So yeah, it's not my place. I'm just a guy. I don't care. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. So yeah, I did all the figures. And oh yeah, if you want to do some figuring for yourselves, percentage of a percentage calculator. This is where you can do it the cheat way, but you got to do a bunch of other things for yourself. But I'm gonna show you guys something. So remember we talked about 54%, first percentage, second percentage, 50%. You see that? 27. Same thing that I use with the formula. And then also, if you want to look at the female delusional calculator, you can see that right here, female delusion. And then, so let's what's a good, let's open it up. Let's see let me see, 18 to 85 black men. Let's exclude obese because, they want a black man who's, in shape. And let's go to 100K. Let's see what comes out now. It was lower than ever. It was 0.14. Now 0.12. So that's how that works. Okay. And again, they're only approximates, just a little exercise. But I just wanted to give you guys an overview of what you're facing. Not for the men. I think it's mostly for the women.